We have in the studio Arise analyst Dr. Constance Ikokwu to look at this issue. Dr. Ikokwu, thank you for joining us on Newsnight.
Thanks for having me.
You heard the prof there. Is Nigeria, with our intervention in the situation in Niger, is Nigeria meddling into a proxy war between Russia and NATO?
Well, it has been an event-filled week, right? With so many defining moments here in Nigeria and across Africa as well. When you do a quick review of what's been going on, what you will see is an outpour of negative emotions against Nigeria in other West African countries, particularly towards our president. This is sparked, obviously, by the fact that our president is the current chairman of ECOWAS. And therefore, he is the one that signed off on that statement made by ECOWAS to the effect that they will explore the military option to restoring democracy in Niger. Yeah. So coming to your question, is it going to be a proxy war? It's possible. This is not a straightforward fight that is going on here. I think one thing that President Bola Tinubu has to understand is that there is geopolitics at play here. Right? There are so many countries involved. So whatever decisions you're going to be making, you have to use a lot of tact, a lot of diplomacy. There has to be depth, and there has to be rigor before you arrive at that decision. It's not only about writing press releases. This is not Lagos State. This is Nigeria. This is the world stage. We're dealing with West Africa. We are also dealing with other African countries continentally. And whatever decision that he makes will have larger implications for the entire continent. The one thing to draw out is also that there are so many countries in Africa already facing war, already undergoing wars for the last at least 10 years. So much instability. Do you want to start another war? And then why are you starting that war? What is so special about Niger, which is why someone will mention proxy war? This has happened, the coup has happened in other countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea. We did not take that route. So why are we taking that route in Niger? It might be also that when people look at the whole diplomacy or diplomatic struggles that are taken on, there is France on one hand, there is the United States, and by extension also there is the European Union. So is this a fight about Niger, about democracy, or is this a fight about resources and minerals in Africa? We have to think about that. Hopefully and thankfully, the Senate has told the president that we will not be using military options. Senators from the northern part of the country have also expressed concerns. So this indicates that although the president has extensive powers, he does not have unlimited powers. Exactly, which is what is going to save us. I think that the president right now is probably trying to save face.
Okay, now talking about saving face, I don't think it's so late, except you want to call my attention to something I've not looked at. In any case, what other diplomatic options should we be looking at? Because the last time the president sent diplomats to Niger, they were not allowed in. Was that a little too late?
The reason why they were not allowed in is that you had already declared war, or almost declared war, before you decided to explore the diplomatic channel. In times like this is the reason why we have a foreign policy. It's the reason why we have diplomats. We have diplomats that are trained to handle situations like this. So the first thing that should have happened is sending in diplomats there. Yes, he had sent the Sultan of Sokoto and the former president, Abdulsalami Abubakar. They are former military people. I don't know if there were diplomatic people from our foreign service in that trip. So this is what he should be doing more. I mean, it's a complicated or complex situation, and it has to be handled carefully. What is going on and the sentiments against us also indicates to you that Nigeria is no longer the big brother that we used to be in Africa. We used to be respected, and people used to look up to us. Right now, if you talk to a lot of African countries, they are so disappointed at Nigeria. They are so disappointed that we have not achieved or gotten to the place where we should by leading Africa. They sort of were expecting that Nigeria would be the one that will help to restore dignity to Africa. But Nigeria has been fumbling for so many years now. And they look at us and they're like, you can't even conduct elections and you want to tell us about democracy? So Nigeria has to look at this and think about it critically. This is actually a good opportunity for us to begin to make amends. Can we regain that respect and dignity that has taken a beating? Of course we can, but it will require a lot of work, and we can start now to do that work. We can start now to do that work. That's a good place to come in again. Like the Prof also said, the president's first responsibility is to Nigeria, not to ECOWAS or to Niger. Yet again, we can stand in the place of leadership, knowing that the president is the chairman of ECOWAS as we speak. Let's look at the ECOWAS standby force. The other day, a guest spoke a little about it. How can we harness and appropriately to the ECOWAS standby force? Why do you want to talk about ECOWAS standby force when so many ECOWAS countries are poor and struggling? You need wealth in those countries. People have to thrive. People have to do well in order to believe in whatever you're talking about. Even if you have a standby force, where is the money going to come from to fund that force? Yes, Nigeria is a major part of West Africa. However, we are struggling economically, and so we cannot carry the burden entirely. So ECOWAS going forward should focus on the prosperity of all these countries. There is a reason why all these Francophone countries are fighting. It is a fight of liberation. You might not agree with the process or channel or system of government that they have chosen, but they are really struggling against former colonial powers. Last week I spoke about the huge sentiments against France particularly. There is a reason why that is going on. If these people have not seen that the intervention or intrusion of all these countries in their economy is of any benefit to them, why should they continue? Yeah, some have said that, oh, it is an opening for Russia. Is it about Russia, or is it about the well-being of the countries that we are talking about? So that's why I said that there has to be a lot of rigor in the president's team. Yeah, he's just appointed ministers, but even his close cabinet, people that do research and understand what is going on geopolitically. This is a bigger stage that we are dealing with. So we definitely have to be careful on how to manage all of these things. Interesting. Okay, then in the coming days, we'll be seeing how this pans out. But then, before I let you go, we should also look at the support that the coup plotters and the military are enjoying from the citizens of Niger themselves. What does it portend for the country and for other African countries in general? We, Nigeria, need to read the handwriting on the wall. There is a reason why those people are in support of the coupists. I mean, you might not, again, you might not agree with that system of government, but when people are frustrated and feel like they have been thoroughly dehumanized by the so-called democratic government, then they have to look for other options. Look at Cameroon beside us here. The man is he not over 90 or reaching 90? And he's been presiding over years of war in that country, killing his own people. And France is okay with that, and we are okay with that. Then our neighbor Chad here, the military strongman Idris Deby died, and they put his son in power. And then you call that democracy? All around us, look around. There are no examples of great democracies. So what are you talking about? And so these people are telling you that they are tired of the system of governance that does no good to their lives. Maybe they're going to take a chance. Maybe they are taking a chance. But the thing is, we have to read the handwriting on the wall and manage this entire situation sensitively. Again, President Bola Tinubu, this is not Lagos, this is the world stage, and we cannot be pawns in the hands of Western nations who, at the end of the day, are probably just working or fighting for minerals on the continent. African countries have been played against one another for centuries. It's probably time that they wake up and take their destinies into their hands. It's probably time African countries wake up, and it's important we take our destinies in our hands. Thank you very much, Dr. Constance Ikokwu, for coming on Newsnight. You're welcome.